There's one. Got something. I left all my food at home, so I've got no lunch today. I left my rain jacket at home, so I might get wet, but we're testing out the mono rig today. Oh, and I'm back. Let's start things off with the water temp, just for science. All right, air temp 39 degrees. I'm gonna guess the water is warmer. Yep. So you got 40.5. Start off tight lining. And I broke off. Just learned a valuable lesson. Don't cheap out on the Tippet rings. I'm experimenting with the mono rig, which I'll talk about in a minute. So I bought a bunch of cheap, Amazon Tippet rings, and I noticed it at first. I thought it was just me pulling too hard or a bad knot or something, but pretty sure those Tippet rings are sharp. So hopefully lesson learned. There's a fish. Sweet. Took the Pat's rubber legs. Cute little 10-incher. So there's a submerged rock right there. So there's like a broken water right behind it. I'm gonna start behind it because that's what I'm in position for. And then I'll move to the front. I tend to find more fish in front of rocks than behind, but they can be in both places. Let's talk about it. What the heck is a mono rig? Isn't that what a Euroliter is? And sort of. It's very close. The biggest difference is it's heavier 20-pound backing, or a butt section that's 20 pounds. And then you taper down to 12, 10 pound, down to your tippet, down to your flies. And the biggest thing this lets you do, it has more mass and line, so you can still cast it like a fly line, which can be huge. It gives you some advantages. There's definitely a little more sag, tight lining, which I'm kind of dealing with by making sure I'm staying close. But having that extra mass and being able to, being able to cast lets you do something like put an indicator on when you need to, and have like what some consider like a tight line to an indicator presentation. So you don't have all that line sitting on the water creating drag, pulling your Indy into different seams, etc. So you don't have to switch leaders out. You can fish streamers, even dry flies in close range. So today I'm just experimenting. The lights, it's obviously overcast, drizzly weather, so it's kind of hard to see my indicator. So right now I'm just tight lining because that's what I'm most familiar with. But I know downstream there's a really nice, less complex run where an indicator works really well. So I expect to down there get an indicator put on. So the biggest difference I'm noticing right now is the effect of the tuck cast. Basically, when you cast it like a normal fly line, it causes everything to sort of turn over, and the fly hits the water first. And then it can help it sink faster if you need that. But it also helps you stay in contact. So if you could get something to eat your fly really early, you'll detect it and you can get that fish. There's a fish. Decent fish. It's funny, I was mentioning that I don't normally catch fish behind rocks, but that one I got in behind the rock. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Got this one on the red dart. There's one. I got this one on the Pats. Sometimes these Pit River bows have these really big spots. Ooh, that's a good fish. That's a good fish. Sick. Yes. Got him. Oh yeah, that's a great fish. Looks like the flies are out. Let's see how big this guy is. 16 inches, baby. Looks like he's got a little injury right there on the side of him. Lost some skin, but it's healed back. Awesome. Come on. Come on. There's one more seam out here that I think I can reach. Just got to get out here in front of this rock. There's my line. I took the hats. So I know you're probably thinking, so what's the formula for this leader? It's nothing crazy. You're using 20-pound mono. I've got chameleon on here. I've seen people use amnesia, but I feel like you have to straighten it more. Despite its name, I feel like it has a stronger memory. So I'm using 20-pound chameleon and then a 2-foot section of 12-pound to taper down so it helps turn over the rig. And then I'm using about 10-pound line for the cider, about 2 or 3 feet down to my tippet. Now I'll have a formula. I'll write it down in the description if you want to find out all the materials I'm using. But really what matters is the 20-pound butt section. That does most of the work of the cast. Ooh, there's something. Decent little fish. Oh, and he's off. My My bad. We basically pointed the rod at him to take all the tension away. Ooh, so pretty. So I don't know what's going on. The water just got muddy. Like literally just got muddy. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. This is crazy. I've honestly never seen a river turn muddy in like 10 minutes like that. I'm not sure what's going on. If the dam is releasing a different flow, it doesn't look like the flow has changed. I don't know. Don't know what to do. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move downriver. It's going to take me a few minutes to get there to that spot I was talking about where I can indicate a nymph. And maybe by then the water will clear up a little. Well, I have never seen anything quite like this where the river just got muddy. Literally like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. So I don't know how well the fishing's gonna go. I hiked down to this nice pool so I could test out throwing an indicator on the mono rig and hoping that maybe it would clear up some of this water, but definitely cast it, definitely make loops. And that was a good 20-foot cast. I know there's lots of fish here. This is frustrating that it got muddy. Well, these muddy conditions have definitely killed my confidence, so I'm gonna fix this tangle, get in the car, head up the river, see if maybe it cleared up upriver. I don't see the evidence that this is gonna get better. So I've moved way upriver, and the water's still off color, but it's not that chocolate milk brown, so I can still, there's still some visibility here. I already know I'm gonna love this because, I don't know, I almost feel like I can cast this better than fly line. It's going right where I want it. This is amazing. I guess what I'm seeing that I'm not used to is like having less line, like the indicator is slowing down. It's going slower than the current. The top of the water is not affecting my presentation nearly as strongly. That's amazing. On this clean like water surface, I can really easily see my line. The nice thing about these cork indicators is they're painted, like the bottom half is painted opposite of where it attaches. So when the flies are fishing, it aligns itself so that the orange is up. Another important detail about the mono rig is that you make sure your taper is relatively short so that you don't have any knots in the guides. I know that you can use blood knots or even put like a epoxy on them, but it still bumps and it affects how far you can shoot line. So like, I feel like I can shoot line better with this mono rig than fly line. I mean, in the distances I normally would cast or do a nymphing cast, this is about perfect. And see, I'm here, I'm picking my line up off the water, so there's zero drag. Indicator's just doing all the work. Got something. It's been a while since I felt a tug. This could be a decent fish. Come on, stay above me. Got him. Yes. That's a nice little fish. Got him on the red dart too. About 8 today, another 16-incher. Little chubby hen. Well, I'm not spooking off any fish when I walk up on this. Let's change our tactics up. So with my main river kind of blown out, I thought I'd head up somewhere and see if I can find a creek I'd never been to. Well, the roads were not plowed all the way through, so I stopped and found this little creek. It's a few times I've kind of walked up on holes. I didn't see anything scurrying off, so that's not a good sign. At the beginning I mentioned I'm back, and if you're wondering where I've been, well, I had a big huge bike race that I filmed a documentary for essentially back in June, and the work was just way more than I could do while making fishing videos, so I had to pause the fishing videos and get that done, give it my full attention, and that's nearing completion, so that's exciting. I'm pumped about 2022. A little bit of a mayfly hatch going off. Haven't seen anybody coming up for them though. Now and then I see a little ring on the surface of the water, but teasing me, but I think it's just raindrops falling off the trees. I could be wrong. I just haven't seen any noses. Well, it's a bummer that the river got muddy and I had to go exploring and look for more water, and that turned out to be a bust too, but I caught some fish on the pit before that happened on the mono rig, and the mono rig is definitely pretty awesome. I have a lot to learn. The changes in your cast are very subtle, but they make a huge difference, so I definitely recommend you guys look into it. I'll put some information about it down in the description like I said. So guys, until next time, see you later.